Hello. Oh, I never know whether I've started or not. Hi everyone. I always start my videos out a bit weird, you know, a bit of singing, a bit of dancing. I try and jump on every Thursday, but I won't be around tomorrow, so I thought I'd jump on today. And I'm just going to wait a little bit, see who shows up. I'm not normally jumping on at 9:30 in the morning. Usually it's late in the afternoon. Oh, morning, Desiree. Good morning, Charmaine. Well, hello, Sarah. Hello to you too. Lovely to see everybody. There I go again. Morning, Priya. Oh, Priya, I've got to say, I laugh so much sometimes when I watch your little stories. I click on your stories on purpose because you share the funniest stuff. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Megan, Jessie, Ellen. Hello from Norway. Oh, beautiful. So I'm jumping on because I had a bit of an experience last night, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to share this. I have situations in business where I have to cancel things last minute. That's a reality for me. And when I came into working for myself a number of years ago, I used to get really stressed about that. I still do because I'm a human being, but when my children were younger, babies, it wasn't such a prominent challenge. I always had some kind of scenario or situation where my children were being cared for while I was working. These days, because my children are growing and developing and they're getting older, part of autistic culture is that our children have challenges, and they are not challenges that are commonly understood by non-neurodivergent people. Even when professionals specialise in autism, even when people write books about it, if they are not autistic themselves, their knowledge and understanding is based on observation and learning. There's nothing like lived experience. And don't get me wrong, there's some wonderful, wonderful non-neurodivergent professionals out there supporting us and our communities. But there's nothing like neurodivergent lived experience. We get it, right? We get it. So, what I want to talk about is, I'm always promoting and advocating for customizing our lives to be in alignment with neurodivergent culture. And that will look different for every single person and every single family. And when we talk about neurodivergent culture or autistic culture, we are not excluding non-neurodivergent people, because there are going to be people out there raising autistic children that don't identify as autistic themselves. You will still find that you will need to customize your life to be different. Otherwise, we'll live in this perpetual state of tension and stress and, trying to achieve outcomes that are not going to happen for us because we're autistic people and we need different things. But how does this look when we're working parents? How does this look? And for me, I still get caught up in that trap of internalizing a lot of guilt and a lot of embarrassment and a lot of shame and a lot of ultimately internalized ableism. So last night I was in a situation where I had a family emergency and I was forced to cancel 2 live sessions that I had. One was at 6 o'clock with my private membership group, and one was at 8 o'clock with my In Tune with PDA participants. Whenever I face the reality of having to cancel and reschedule, I feel extreme anxiety. First of all, it's a loss of control for me, and I'm a PDAer. Second of all, I have to brace myself and prepare for a backlash of really unhappy people. And I want to say this. I genuinely, and I've run so many rounds of my programs and I have hundreds of members in my membership. I've had 2 people, in 4 years I've had 2 people send an email, not even complaining, just touching on the fact that there's been a few cancellations. And that's not unreasonable. But I have been held and supported and accepted unconditionally by my clients, by my community, and I don't expect that. When you grow up in a world that is based on neuronormativity, you expect that people are going to be pissed when you cancel. You expect that people are going to disapprove, call you unprofessional, change their perception of who you are and your work ethic. And here's my reality. I am not just a person who designs programs and talks about autism. I am an autistic person, ADHD, a PDA, raising autistic kids, ADHD, PDAs, anxious kids, kids with challenges. I'm an autistic adult. I have challenges. This is how we identify as autistic. There are specific areas that we struggle in. So I don't want to pretend that when I have to cancel, I want to be honest and say, my kids need me right now. We're having a family crisis right now. We have a family emergency right now. Because I want to normalize that. We need to normalize this, not just for autistic people, but for everyone. Am I even still here? Because I'm not seeing any comments, and I'm afraid that I have frozen. Hi Maria. After the video finishes, there will be captions. Unfortunately, there isn't a way that I can have live captions. Oh, I'm still here. Okay. Hi, Deb. Oh, Deb. Oh, my goodness. I have to tell you, we used Otter this morning. Amazing captioning service. So when you jump on Zoom with me, we do have live captioning, but unfortunately I haven't worked out how to do that in Facebook. So sorry, everyone. There's a bit of lag with the comments. I think we need to normalise being honest about our lives. So when I had to cancel 2 sessions last night, I send out an email and I say, I have a family emergency, because I'm not going to get up here and talk about being attentive to our children's needs, cultivating positive autistic identity, crafting our lives to work for us, setting boundaries with people, being unapologetically autistic, and then lie about why I have to cancel. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. there are going to be times in my life as a parent where my kids need me and they are going to be priority. I am not going to encourage families to prioritise family life and then not do the same for myself. And I definitely have to sit with the discomfort of this inevitable backlash for me that is internalised ableism. I will give myself a hard time. Last night I gave myself a hard time. I sat back, and when you have grown up not knowing you're autistic, when you've gone 33 years not being able to complete things, not being able to remember things, not being able to be consistent because of ADHD, because of any kind of neurodivergence, and you don't know you're neurodivergent, you internalise a lot of trauma, a lot of disapproval, rejection, abandonment, being on, I went through behavioural modification. I was put in isolation at school as a kid. So I have trauma there. And my first response to myself when I can't show up for something is to give myself a hard time. And I'm working on that. So I have to sit with that discomfort and remind myself, Christy, first of all, you're disabled. Second of all, you're raising disabled children. And our families, we are committed to living in a way that helps us to thrive. We don't live along neuronormative standards. We don't, because we're not neuronormative. I don't even think that exists, but anyway. So I just want to give other people permission to say, you know what, I can't do this because my kids need me. Or I can't do this because I have a family thing to attend to. Whatever language you want to use, And if it's safe with employers, sometimes it won't be and they won't understand. But sharing that, any kind of backlash, it's a form of discrimination or ableism. If people do not or cannot accept that we cannot show up for things we used to show up for because we no longer want to mask because we're traumatized people, or because we are exploring our own neurodivergent identity and culture, if people cannot be accepting of that, it's okay to put boundaries in. It's okay to create distance. It's okay to let people go. It's okay to call people out. It's okay. Because those people that don't understand, they don't get a seat at our table. They just don't. And if we're not in a position where we feel strong enough to set those boundaries, that's okay too. We're doing the best we can. And everything takes time. But I just don't want people to think that in neurodivergent culture, in our family lives, we ever get to a point where there aren't challenges. This is the whole point. It's about finding the calm amongst the chaos sometimes. It's not about fixing everything and changing everything. It's about looking at our lives and going, you know what? Yep, this sucks, but I'm going to have to cancel this thing. I'm going to have to set that boundary. And none of that's going to be easy. None of it. But the alternative is that I people please, is that I feel obligated, and my children don't get the care and the support they need. There are also going to be times as a PDAer where I cannot show up for something, and that sucks. That sucks. Because as an adult, how many people do you think understand me when I say to them, I really want to do this thing, but I can't. I just can't. Not many people understand that. But when we surround ourselves with the right people, when we show up and be courageous and be who we are and start sharing just even small snippets of our reality and be transparent, we create space by letting go of all the people, places and things that don't align with that. We create space for the right stuff to come in, the right people, the right supports. And I feel so moved and honoured and privileged to be a part of a community where when I cancel a live that people are expecting me to show up for, I get an abundance of emails sent to me expressing compassion and understanding and love and support and care. I don't even know how to thank people for that. It's more than I have language for. But I know that because I have pruned and culled in my life consistently and let go of things, not just people but therapies for my kids if they're not responding well to them or they don't need them. Therapists or support people. Sometimes professionals and therapists can be beautiful human beings, but it doesn't mean they're right for our kids. Sometimes parents come into this where their children are identified as autistic and they're told that their kids need OT, speechy, psych, and maybe they don't need any of it. We don't need therapy for being autistic. We need supports for the things that we need support with across our lifespan, like any human being, right? Me too, Stephanie. Me too. Thank you for the stars, everybody. I really appreciate it. Sarah, that is really beautiful. Sarah says, I appreciate how much you've helped my family experience feel validated. And you know what? Likewise, I cannot express to my community what I get back. I am just one of you. I'm not better, I'm not above, I'm just an autistic person raising autistic kids, and I just want to be here to hold space and to facilitate spaces where we can be real and we can explore together and work out how can we shape our lives so that we like who we are, so we have the freedom to connect with one another and to enjoy each other, and to stop being bombarded with neuronormative messaging and shaming and blaming and guilt about screen time and not sitting at the table for meals and not being able to get to school and being in burnout, all of that stuff. Here's the reality. We all share these commonalities. This is autistic culture. This is neurodivergent culture. This isn't a whole population of people failing. This isn't a whole population of people not getting it or not doing it right. It's a different way of being. It's a different way of living, and we keep trying to get better, do better, be better, know better, live better, and we're not supposed to. And I just want to give everybody permission to sit with that today. Thank you for your words. So do you talk to your kids about going to therapy or group sessions when they are PDAs and never ever want to go to anything? No, I don't. I never do that. I don't, I hope I'm understanding the question correctly. Do I encourage my children to be in therapy or to go to group sessions when I don't want to? No. No. When my children bring challenges to me, when my children are melting down, when my children can't do things, I respond by sharing, yeah, I know that feeling. That's bloody hard, isn't it? It's hard to live in a world where we're trying really hard all the time and we can't and people don't believe us. I get it. Those are some big feelings. And you know what? As autistic people, we have big feelings and sometimes not enough space and time to process them. I'm real with my kids, but I haven't always been because I used to subscribe to neuronormativity. And that made me very ill and very sad, and I felt inherently flawed. And this is what society sells to neurodivergent people, that we are failing, that we are not doing things right, and it's bullshit. I just want you to know it's bullshit. It's like, you know, we are the only species that does not recognize biodiversity, neurodiversity, any kind of diversity, and really get it. There are animals, right? We don't expect cats to live and behave and eat and do and be and breathe and feel like dogs. We just don't. So why are we doing this with neurodivergent people? Why do we expect people who are neurobiologically wired differently to be like their non-neurodivergent peers? It is insanity. It doesn't make sense, and it makes us ill and destroys our relationship with ourselves. It traumatizes autistic children, and we come into adulthood in an identity crisis with all of these co-occurring conditions. It's exhausting. It's just exhausting. Anne-Marie, Christy, does the money for stars go straight to you? Anne-Marie, I want to be really honest and say I have no idea, and I feel really embarrassed when people send me stars. But I don't want to sound ungrateful because I'm really grateful. But I've got a bit of PDA around it. I don't really understand the concept of stars and what they do. I know there is a monetary value and I'm really grateful. But I don't know whether... I haven't looked into it. I've got this thing on my Facebook page that says I have stars and I don't look at it. But I'd like to, because I'd like to use it to put toward something else, not for me. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. I was a bit, you know, a bit ballsy today. Anne-Marie, that's really kind. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful day.